Well, welcome to Tuesday Update. Today is Tuesday, November 17th. Well, this past weekend we had about 450 people attend our two masses here at St. Pius, both in the Parish Center and the church. And I know many of you joined us on the live stream at home, so it's good to have you. And with the second wave of COVID that they're predicting is coming, just a reminder, if you're not feeling well or you have any sort of symptoms of flu-like symptoms, please stay home, okay? And if you're vulnerable, your health is vulnerable, please stay home and watch the live stream, okay? With the colder weather, we are trying to get our ambassadors inside the church so they don't have to stay outside. One thing that would really help them is if those forms you have in terms of the contact tracing forms, if you can have those filled out when you come and just leave them off, the flow will go a lot better. Now, if you don't have a computer at home or you don't have a printer at home, don't feel guilty about that. We'll still sign you up and get your name. But if you do have a computer at home, if you could print maybe several of them out and just have them fill them out, bring them with you here, especially in the winter, that'll help things. Thank you. Remember, we're going to start 2 daily masses per week in Advent. We're going to have a 9 o'clock on Tuesdays and a 6:30 a.m. on a Wednesday beginning in December. We're going to take all those intentions from in March when we no longer were celebrating masses through November. Now, I have celebrated masses for those people in my own masses. But if you want your loved one mentioned at any of those 10 masses that are going to happen in December, you just call the office and we'll make sure they get mentioned. So if there's any, and then of course in December, we already have some 9 o'clock and 6:30 masses scheduled. Any 9 o'clock masses in the particular week, we'll celebrate that on Tuesday at 9. Any 6:30 masses during that week, we'll celebrate at 6:30 on Wednesday. If there's any 7 p.m. mass intentions, they'll be celebrated at the 9 a.m. mass, okay? And then you can get new mass intentions. You know, we can get you a mass card, but we won't schedule those masses till after the beginning of the new year. Okay, but if you call Kirsten, she'll figure out a way to get your loved one a card, a mass card, and what we'll do is we'll put it out here in the gathering area, but she'll work out on the phone how to do it. If you could, we're trying to keep our staff safe, and so we're asking people not to come in, but we'll figure out a way to get you that mass card, okay? And then, of course, when we do have those masses, it's going to be just like the weekend. We're going to come in the main section of the church, and we're going to have those contact tracing forms, okay, filled out. We're going to have to do that, and we'll use the main section of the church. We'll have the mass. We'll spread out 6 feet every other pew. After the end of mass, we'll have you sanitize. We'll have some cleaning products here. We'll have you sanitize where you sat, and so that we can keep it safe for the next people coming in. We are going to have a Thanksgiving Day Mass. Remember, we always have a Thanksgiving Day Mass at 9 a.m., and we're going to have it again this year. Certainly you can watch us on the live stream as well. But we'll have that at 9 a.m., and we'll go through the same protocols as we do on a weekend, so we'll bring your contact tracing form as well. This past weekend, we were able to collect 125 turkeys. That's just amazing. You know, we were hoping to get 80 because we're trying to support Sacred Heart Food Pantry and the Sister Maureen Joyce Center, but we got 125, and they were ecstatic about the additional turkeys, and we certainly were able to get almost double the amount of food that we would normally get at a weekend, so we really, really appreciate you reaching out to us and helping us with that. Hey, I want to tell you, do you remember Father Bill Cahill? If many of you, this is maybe a couple years ago, he would celebrate the 10 o'clock Mass with me. He was a retired priest from Syracuse who made his way here to Albany. He helped out at a lot of different parishes, but then when he retired, he came here at 10 o'clock Mass. He greatly enjoyed this community, and he just died Sunday morning. Last couple of years, he's been in a nursing facility and hasn't been with us, but he did die this past Sunday morning. I want to let you know because sometimes people ask me, how's Father Bill doing? But he went to God this past Sunday morning. Our annual Christmas tree. Remember, we normally do our annual Christmas tree, and we put a tag on it. for asking people to help us for the needy people and those agencies that need help. And again, what we'll do this year, we're not going to do the Christmas tree, just so there's no touching of various the tags and the gifts and all that stuff. But what we are going to do is we're still going to try and help those agencies and those needy people, and we're going to do it through gift cards. And if you'd like to participate in that Christmas giving tree this year, we're going to do it through Target cards, Walmart cards, Amazon cards, Price Chopper and Hannaford cards. Or sometimes people like to write out a check that we can give to agencies or those needy people. We will have, remember we have our baskets in the church as well as in the parish center, and you're welcome to drop off those gift cards in the baskets. Or remember out here we have a little black box, it's a little drop box right outside the chapel. If you put your gift cards in there, we check that box every evening so that we don't leave it overnight. But if you want to drop them off there, and December 13th is kind of the drop dead date on that. We need them by the 13th of December. We are going to have our Advent breakfast. We really have enjoyed those the last 3 or 4 years, the men's and women's Advent breakfast. We're going to have to live stream it this year, of course, because of the COVID. But we'd ask you to grab a cup of coffee. Our guys, we're going to have our men's breakfast on Friday, December 4th at 7:30 a.m. John Musaw is going to share some of his experiences with us. And for the women, on Saturday, December 5th at 9 a.m., Rebecca Riccuti is going to share her faith story with us. And of course, you can watch it on website, on the Facebook. An hour later, you can see it on YouTube. And if you can't get at the 7:30 a.m. and 9 a.m., you can watch it later on our website, on Facebook, on YouTube. But grab your cup of coffee on that the morning of the 4th and the 5th of December. Advent begins in a week and a half. It's hard to believe it's almost upon us. And, that's the great time of preparation for Christmas. And even though we got all this COVID stuff going on, we want it to be a special time in which we really prepare for the birth of Christ. And our staff here at St. Pius, as well as some volunteers, have been really working hard on, I think, a very, very unique idea. It's called Advent in a Box. And they've done a really, really good job with it. And I've asked Nancy Uruski, who's on our staff here, to come and talk to you a little bit about the Advent in a Box.
Thank you, Father. Indeed, COVID did put a little bit of a crimp in our Advent planning for this year at St. Pius, but we think we found a way to mix some faith as well as some fun and wrap it up in a neat little package for you. You see in front of you, the Advent in a Box. I don't want to give away too many details about the contents of the box, but I will say that it's a mix of spiritual preparation for the season as well as just some fun holiday prep. We will be giving the boxes away at Masses this weekend. I do want to talk to you about one specific component of the box, though. It's an important one. It has to do with this nice heavy-duty plastic bag and this calendar that you'll find inside the box. So the calendar has a food item in each of the squares from November 29th through December 20th. And so we're hoping we will all, even though we'll be separated, we'll all join together as a parish family and each day be putting a specific food item into our specific food donation bag. We're going to try to replenish food pantries and outreach organizations that are hit so hard during the holiday season, so that's sort of the purpose of this little project. Again, we're going to give the bags away this weekend. We ask that it's one Advent in a Box per household. If you have a child taking in-person religious ed instruction, there's no need for you to take a box when you come to Mass because we're going to be sending a box home through religious ed for your family. If you have a child who attends St. Pius X school, you do not need to take a box when you come to Mass that weekend because we are going to send a box home to every St. Pius X school family on this Friday. So we thank you in advance for your participation in this project, and we hope you enjoy this box as much as we enjoyed curating and creating it for you.
Well, thank you, Nancy, and I think you're going to enjoy this Advent in a Box. Our staff's been very, very excited about it. It's very unique things in there, and I think there is a lot of good preparation for us for Christmas there. Hey, just a reminder, this weekend, second collection, it is for the Capital Campaign for Human Development. We'll be doing that this weekend. Again, the baskets are here, or if you send us a contribution, we'll make sure it gets to those developing areas that need that assistance. I've asked Danielle Cox to come today. She's our school principal, and to give us a little update on how things are going in the school.
Thank you, Father. Hello, everyone. Believe it or not, we just ended the first marking period of the school year. Certainly has been an eventful first marking period, but one where we have been able to maintain as much normalcy as we could throughout the school building. So just to touch on some of the things that have gone on here during the first marking period of the school year, we've been able to carry out traditions such as our third grade Apple Day and Pumpkin Day. Halloween looked a little bit different, but we celebrated nonetheless. We had a Halloween spooktacular here at school with crafts, games, treats, and a performance for all of our students by the Bubble Man, which was very well received. We have our virtual Scholastic Book Fair going on right now. So November is always the time where we do our annual book fair or biannual book fair. This is virtual this time, so if you are interested in purchasing any books or want to take a look at that, you certainly can do so through our Facebook page. We've been able to still carry out many service projects. We participated and partnered with the church in doing our Socktober service project where we collected socks for those in need, and currently we have our Coats for Kids going on as well. In addition, on Veterans Day, we were able to make cards for some of our area veterans, and then we also partnered with a local publicity company and sent some cards to some various veterans throughout the country. Our third graders were also gifted by that same publicity company with a book called When You Stand For Me, which talked about the history of the American flag. And then our third graders were able to enjoy a virtual story time and a Q&A session with the author, who is actually local to this area here in the Capital Region. So we've had a lot going on. Like I said, even though things have looked a little different and we've been challenged with thinking outside the box, when you enter our school building, we try and create a sense of normalcy for the students as much as we can. So if you're interested in ever learning more about what we do or what's going on here at the school, I encourage you to follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Also, you can now find a link to our weekly Bulldog Bulletin, which is in the Thursday update that comes from the parish. On the constant contact email that comes out, there is always a link to the school Bulldog Bulletin. And if you happen to be a grandparent of a student here at St. Pius, you can now get that Bulldog Bulletin emailed directly to you so you can stay up to date on what's going on in the lives of your grandchildren. So if you're interested in that, you can always email us at marketing@stpius-x.com. Thank you, Father.
Thanks, Danielle. We heard a lot of positive buzz about the veterans video that we were able to put together. Kirsten put it together, and I think she did a really nice job, and it was a nice way to honor our veterans, and I hope you enjoyed it at home. And those videos that we send out on Thursday, those constant contacts, are very popular, so we thought we'd do a little Thanksgiving Day video in terms of maybe you would send us a picture of your Thanksgiving celebration. It's certainly going to be different this year with COVID, and so don't be afraid to send us some pictures that maybe have some good humor in them. We're always open to that, but send them to us. We'd like to get together on that Thursday after Thanksgiving. We'll get that video out, but send us a picture of your upcoming Thanksgiving and maybe a name with it so that we can put your name in there as well. We did have our third grade first reconciliation. So normally, remember, we would normally do first reconciliation for second graders in February of the second grade year. But of course, with COVID was starting to close in on us this past February, we canceled it. And the same with First Communion. We didn't get a chance to do it the first week of May, which we typically would. So we did the First Communion for the second graders this summer. And now we're breaking the kids up into 5 groups. So this would be both the religious education kids and St. Pius X students, 5 groups. And we do first reconciliation. So we've done 2 groups so far, got another 3 to do. So we'll do it for our third graders. They've done a really good job. They remember a lot of the stuff from February, what they were taught, and they did a good job with their first reconciliation. Remember, we've been asking people for, hey, what are you grateful for in this month of November as we close in on Thanksgiving? And Parishioner Dan Green offered this. He said, this year I'm especially grateful for all the doctors, nurses, and essential workers. Doctors and nurses have been tireless and selfless in their care for all patients, especially those affected with COVID. Other essential workers have done everything possible to keep us safe and yet provide the services we need. And then a staff member, Heidi Cummins, reflects as follows. Slowing down earlier this year made me aware of so many wonderful things in my life, from before the unnoticed signs of wildlife and nature in my backyard to the unrushed, meaningful discussions with my children and family. Sometimes it takes gray times in life to rediscover the colorful abundance of God's grace. So thanks for connecting with us here on Tuesday Update. Have a good week. We'll look forward to seeing you this week either in person or on the live stream. And God bless.